Hearties, the official after show where we bring your questions to the cast and crew of When Calls the Heart. I'm Lori from Mobile, Alabama.
I'm Marg from San Diego.
And on the heels of that beautiful episode 9, we are bringing you today the lovely Angela Canfield, Vienna Leacock.
Hi.
And of course, her parents, Angela Canfield's parents, Viv Leacock and Natasha Burnett. Welcome. We're so happy to have you today.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
How are things going? How's the off season treating y'all?
Pretty good. Good, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of stuff going on.
Got a new driver here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's still a work in progress. I still have a lot to practice, but yeah, I'm relieved that I've gotten things on the roll, especially my license.
It seems like teens are kind of waiting a little longer than they used to. At least that happens in San Diego. I don't know about in Vancouver, but
nobody wants. No, these kids.
Nobody cares. Yeah,
because they get driven everywhere. So they're like,
oh,
right.
You know, like you didn't get driven anywhere when I was
right. And they interact with their friends online a lot too, so that the impetus to get out of the home is not necessarily there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Natasha, you've been traveling.
I have. I went back home, went back to London for a few months. It was beautiful.
Did you see some shows?
I did not get to one show. There was a whole plan. I wanted to go and watch Aida at the Royal Opera House because I haven't seen an opera before. Didn't make it there. And Ghost. I wanted to see Ghost. It was only playing for 4 days, not that far from where I was. And I really wanted to see it.
Wow.
Oh, there was just too much to try and fit in.
Is Ghost a new production? I didn't even know that. Is it a musical or?
It is a musical. I don't know if it's new. Though.
I didn't even know that. Okay. There you go.
I think it's new. I thought I heard that it was new.
Okay, and Viv, what's keeping you busy?
Basketball.
Kids, right? The kids are keeping you busy.
Kids, schedule. Yes, basketball. We're planning a trip to the Philippines.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, the whole family's going. So that's
amazing.
And then there's always house stuff. There's always that. So
you got the honey-do list.
Yep. Just like Joseph.
Just like Joseph.
Just like Joseph.
Well, all we're missing is Elias today, and he's having a great season, and I would love to get him on. So we will do that. But today we really kind of wanted to focus in on Vienna, our graduate.
Thank you.
Yes. And Dahlia Hamza Constantine of Alexandria, Virginia wondered, you just graduated, I think, relatively recently.
Just last year, yeah.
Okay. All right. So did your experience of going through all that senioritis kind of help you relate to what Angela is going through?
Definitely. I know that a lot of us were also graduates on set, like the other kids. So we went through it twice, maybe 3 times, because we've had so many scenes where it was related to graduation. And so we were like, oh my gosh, we're going through this again. But we knew how to kind of handle it because of the show and then because of our experiences outside of set. Yeah, it just reflected real life. Excuse me, for the 3 of us and 3 or 4 of us. Yeah. And no, it was fun. It was reliving what we just went through.
Yeah.
And I think like for it to be a group of us, it was very comforting as well. We all knew what the experience was.
Yeah, it was cool how it all lined up just because like they were it's what they were doing in real life. So
yeah.
It's related back.
And I think everybody thinks that the senior year is just like a blast. And it's actually, as I recall from my kids, it's really a complicated year. It has a lot of different feelings.
A little stressful.
It was stressful. It was because you need to get everything done by that time. There's no, I'm gonna next year. It's like, no, there is no next year. You need to get this done. And with obviously our scenes, it was very relaxed. It was way more relaxed than what we experienced in school because there was no, you need to pick your outfit out. There's prom tickets. There's like, you need to get this. There's no deadline. We were just making like little projects in school. But yeah, it was nice to have like a mirror of what we were going through in real life.
Yeah, I loved that. I love the way they show in Hope Valley the way an event then affects everybody. Because like earlier in the season, Allie was kind of feeling displaced by all the seniors, you know, as they were making their plans, and she's so used to being so close to Angela. I think it's one of the things that this show does really, really well. It's neat. So what about you, Dad? How was it going through graduation twice with your daughter?
Yeah, both in both instances, there's a lot of moving parts. So with Angela, of course, there's a new school and her moving away, being away for some time, and all the ramifications that come with that, all the fears that come with that. In real life, yeah, lots of things to do, lots of things for her to do, but
Yeah.
much much more relaxed in as far as I felt about it, just because she's not going away.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Right.
that would kill
Yeah,
me.
I just the scene where you kind of rush in to reassure her that she's expressing that she feels different from other people, and that she'd really like to be with people who could understand and appreciate what her life is about, and
Mm.
how it was just, Joseph just rushed in. He was like, no, you're not different. You're like everybody else. Did that ring true to you?
Yeah, it's we are kind of quick nowadays to it's not that he wasn't necessarily listening, is that he thought what he was saying was helping.
Exactly.
The way it wasn't that he wasn't listening. He was like, no, you don't ever have to feel different, because you look at everything you can do, everything you've accomplished. You don't ever have to feel different. But what Angela was saying, yeah, it did. In fact, it rang more. That was the truth. She is different in that there's a lot of people that don't understand what she's going through, including her parents. They don't, including her family. We don't know what it feels like to not be able to have sight. And yeah, it rang true as far as my experience in this world. Like Viv's experience in this world is close to what my kids have gone through, but slightly different. Like just as far as like anything I went through with people having a problem with me based on the color of my skin is very different, very different than what my kids have gone through, and what I have said to them. It does kind of mirror what Joseph was saying. It's like, you're not different. You don't have to feel such and such a way, because the world is different. The world is different now.
It could be a very generational thing too.
It is a very general, and that would definitely happen with I would say, anybody whose vision is impaired. That is definitely something that people are used to seeing all over the place now. It's not anything that would kind of necessarily throw somebody off now if you came across someone who was visually impaired. So
and I think about that. Her identity is stacked with a number of differences, and so it's she's bringing a very rich. That's, of course, we're going to talk all about the Schwartzman School. But I'm so glad that Lori could be here with us today for this conversation, because she teaches the visually impaired. And so
I taught visually impaired for 22 years when I was in public schools. I retired from that. And for a good chunk of that time, I was teaching high school kids who were blind or visually impaired. And I have to say, watching those scenes with y'all, I was boo-hooing, because I saw my kids and their parents going through that thing, and wanting them to feel like they were just like everybody else, but they were having to approach it from a completely different way. Had all those things, and it's just it really touched me. I loved y'all did a great job with that, because I loved it. And I love that you're bringing that to.
That means a lot.
I love that you're bringing that to everybody to see, to learn, what parents go through of people who have visual impairments.
Yeah, we were Natasha and I talked about how proud we were of Hallmark for bringing in the people who are actually visually impaired to inform they inform all of us as to how they navigate life, and it was such a great day. It was, oh man,
So good.
proud of
It's
them.
like the whole day, I feel like it energized us just being around them, just being in their presence, and just experiencing. I have to say, because Keisha Anderson, who played Clementine, who had the most dialogue and the
amazing.
She was so amazing at getting to her mark, and she was unbelievable.
Oh my gosh, you're blowing my mind right now.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, if you thought that she could see, you would be part of a very large group. The way she moved,
yeah,
you were like, can she see? Nope, she can't. Just
yeah.
Yeah, it
amazing.
was almost as if she was better than like actors who could see joining set for the first time. And because we've been around new actors like every time we film, Keisha was like right on her mark with everything. It was really cool that her and Ginny, that was like their biggest project yet, and they both like nailed it,
knocked it
with
out.
no
Knocked it out.
anything. It was just they were able to jump up, and it was a new set, new environment, new experience, and they were both incredible. Like the whole day too.
Yeah,
we're going to talk more about it, but before we get to that, I want to talk about this sweet scene in which Viv and Vienna danced together. It was really sweet. What was that like for you two?
That was really fun. My dad and I definitely do have those like little connections in our real life, so that wasn't very different. There was no acting really involved.
No acting.
It was just us being Vienna and Viv, and so it was, it was nice to just have that experience on set. I didn't have to like be afraid of the cameras or anything else. I wasn't worrying about anything else. It was more just our scene, and it was just real life.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
It's another one of those moments that they've written in where I'm like, thank you, thank you, everybody. Thank you. It's so nice. It's so kind of you guys to do that. Yeah, and I really liked that. It's an interesting thing because Joseph and Minnie and Cooper can do what I could never do in front of Vienna, which is I can express. I can change. My face can change. And my thoughts can betray the situation in real life, not with Joseph and Angela. So there was a moment when they were dancing, when she first said, "I'm worried about dancing," where Joseph is trying to cheer her up, but he knows that it's not working, and I'm like, I'm up, and then I could feel sad and be sad in front of her. She doesn't know that that's happening to me, so. When we got to do the end dance and everything was happy, it was like she could feel how happy I was. She knew that I had a big smile on my face, and it was such a sweet scene. I loved it.
Very dear.
So sweet to dance with Daddy. So sweet.
Yeah. And Vienna, among your father's skills, did you know that he was a singer?
Oh yes, we've been.
You did? Okay.
I
thought we had talked about this, Viv. I thought you said you weren't a singer, and oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm not as good as Natasha Burnett, but I could.
Ever since we were young, we've all been singing, like in the
Okay, all right.
Known.
We sing all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. And every time I feel the spirit, I mean, such a good song. Wow. How did that come about?
That song.
Natasha will tell you. There was a song. What song? They wanted me to sing another song. I can't remember what it was. Yeah. And I was like, I don't. I was like, this is not
feeling it.
Anything. I couldn't do anything with it. And I actually spoke to Tunette Powell, who works with us and on the show. Yeah. And she was like, hang on a second. She's like, I got one. And she called me back and she's like, all right, this is what you need to sing. And it was the Nat King Cole song. And oh man, it's so good. Because my father sang Nat King Cole songs all the time. So that helped me, feel closer to my pop as well. So it was it was very fitting. As soon as I heard it, I was like, this is the song.
Mhm.
We talked to the director. We talked to Kristen Lehman last week, and she was saying that Martin was kind of like, "What am I doing in this scene? You know, like, what am I doing?" And she was
Yeah.
like, "It's okay. Like, it's okay." And it turned out to be such a beautiful, beautiful scene, and yet I don't know that it moves the story along incredibly or not yet. We don't know
Yeah.
where it might be going, but it just
Yeah.
so touching and so beautiful. I loved it. Yeah.
Well, originally they originally it was Joseph and Henry singing together, and I saw it. I'm like, Martin's not.
No,
gonna
no.
No,
It's not
but Martin can sing. Martin can sing. Martin Cummins can sing. You
Oh,
heard it
that's a
here.
reveal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey.
Martin, he's a very skilled dude. That guy. So he can sing. I was just like, Henry's not gonna sing. That was the thing. I was like, Henry.
That would be a step too far, you think?
That'd be a step too far. You'd be like, is this a fantasy sequence? People wouldn't. They wouldn't believe that. So
It's its own fever dream. Yeah.
yeah, it's another fever dream. Another fever dream. Like, who's dreaming? That's what I want.
More cough medicine, and then Henry will sing.
Exactly. More cough medicine, he'll sing. Yeah.
Okay, but I
that was
think
fun.
one of my favorite moments of the season is that I assume it was improv. The little flirty dancing between Minnie and Joseph, where you're like, see what I did there? Or what? I don't remember what the word. It was so cute. Oh my gosh, you guys. It makes me happy when they let Joseph kind of lean into being a little more comedic.
Yeah, me happy too, because I love being comedic. As
Yeah.
Natasha.
Yeah, was that Natasha? Was that improv? Was that just like a little?
It was. We
Okay.
knew we had to dance that little bit there because the initial dialogue was already there. And after that, this is like how Viv and I always work so well together because it's one of those things where we did the dialogue and we were just like, okay, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Just do something. Just do whatever you feel like doing. And so, we were kind of just messing around.
Yeah.
There's lots of turns, lots of laughs, and then eventually it gets to, okay, well, the camera ends here, so in some way you have to make sure you're at the right angle. But the first few times it was just feeling it out, like what felt fun, and then every time we did something different.
Ah.
Oh.
That's what we always.
It was generally the same thing, but it was different every time. Like maybe he changed the dialogue slightly, or maybe Minnie's reaction was a little bit different. But it was just something. So they could have used any take, I think, that we had done, depending on how they wanted it to play out.
Yeah.
But they don't always leave those other little, like we were talking to Pascal earlier this season, and she was like, it's rare that the little improv things make it in, or maybe Ben said that too. And so it's nice when it does, because you guys are so crazy talented. It's fun to see you play. So.
Thank you. Well, yeah, no, Ben does like to. Ben always kind of has a plan. He's like, all right, I'm gonna do it the way they want it, and then I'm gonna throw in the stuff that I want to do.
Right.
We just tell them, just do what you want to do. Then they have to use that. But
Yeah.
he's very diplomatic, which is why his stuff sometimes doesn't make it in. But we just do our thing. We're like, this is what we're doing.
Good.
So you're gonna have to use it.
No, it's a collaborative art, and that's the beauty of it. At the Hearties family reunion, I think people love getting to hear Natasha's British accent. It makes us extraordinarily happy. So we were so tickled that you got to bust it out. I mean, Oscar Wilde, how much fun was that? What was your reaction when you saw it in the script?
It had actually been a discussion already.
Okay.
Lindsay had always wanted to use my accent for something, and it was just trying to figure out how can we add it in in a way that is realistic in some way and works. And then, there were a few edits to how we got to that place, but I think where we landed was the best place. So there was she's got a little bit of stage fright because, Minnie always seems so confident within herself. But then the fact that then, you know, she can do something that nobody ever thought she could do, and she keeps a lot to herself. So we never see a lot of sides of Minnie.
Yes.
So, and it's only something that Joseph ever has seen. And so, you know, it was just fun to be able to switch between the two, and even mid dialogue when she first responds to Pascal, and then all of a sudden she's just like, oh no, I don't know how to do that. You know,
Wow.
That's tough. Yeah,
So
that's
you can
tough
turn
for
it on
you.
and off like
Oh,
that.
she can do that easy. She does that easily. That's easy.
Wow.
yeah,
Love
it
it.
was just so much fun. It was so much fun. And then to dress up in the suit, the 3-piece suit. It was so playful and fun that it was a nice balance, I think, between her having stage fright but not making it so serious that it became a huge issue.
Right. Yeah. No, it was that was a beautiful, the play. I wish, as Kristen said, I wish that we'd gotten to see more of it, because everything from the costumes, and I think it was just a really great moment. Really.
Yeah. They knocked it out of the park, as always. Our costume department, Barbara.
Yeah, Barbara.
Oh, yes.
Minnie's costume. Well, no, literally the whole family, but Minnie, I was really noticing your costumes this year. The hair, you know, just everything is just.
Yeah.
Were you liking it this year?
I am. We turned 20s. It's not that I haven't worn the outfit I wore in episode 9 before, but for some reason I really liked the way it looked in that episode. And it might have been a combination of that and the hair and being different to what it was before. But yeah, they've done a really, really good job this year.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Minnie does seem to be good at just almost everything.
Almost.
But Viv, oh boy, you got a lot of laughs with that baby. You're a plant killer.
Woo.
Yeah.
He's a plant killer. Wow.
Now, was that scripted, or was that you throwing something in there?
No, that was scripted. But
that's scripted. Okay.
But it's funny because it's based off my real life with my real wife. Because nothing green stays alive in this house.
You can't
hilarious.
Anything in the
cactus. So just a bunch of cacti everywhere.
I think Minnie thought she was okay at gardening. I think
she did.
Yeah, for a moment there. Hold on.
Yeah, hang on. What do you mean? And there was fear on Joe. Joseph was like,
a bridge too far.
You stepped in that.
Yeah. That was fun. That was a fun scene. That was very fun.
Was funny.
Yeah.
So good.
That was another one where there was a reasonable amount of improv to try and get out the door.
Yeah.
Because we were just like, it was feeling a little off balance if we just followed the dialogue straight. And then we kind of got to the end and we were just playing with words and how can we get each other out of the door, and we're standing one way and now we've got to get out and then the camera's there. But it was, again, some more improv, and we found it.
I got to sound like Natasha. So
yes. Oh, the Cheerio and the whole thing.
And I love doing that, and it kills her when I do that.
It actually kills me, not in a funny way, it just kills me.
I know. It kills her soul. Kills her soul.
Boy, we're getting to see it all today.
Yeah, we're getting all the lowdown.
Yeah. I can't help it.
Oh, we love it. It's fun. So now we're going to dive into all the scenes at the Schwartzman School. This is the Schwartzman School. We've been anticipating that for so long. Olivia Morris of Olean, New York, was among the Hearties who wondered whether the actress, and we just found this out, she was wondering if Clementine was visually impaired, and you had just told us that she is.
Yeah.
So can you share any more about filming those scenes at the
Were they actors
set
as well?
They actors?
Yes, Keisha and Ginny, they were both actors. It was their first time on a film set. I know Keisha, she had done theatre before, though. But on a TV show, They were so excited. It was so lovely. Just like that they could tell everybody that they'd done, you know, their first real TV show. It was just so lovely.
They were, we've said it before, they were amazing. They were so sweet.
They had so much humor.
And it was, jokes.
So
No,
funny.
I mean, they were naturals. They killed it. They really did. I thought
good.
I love the blind leading the blind. My students did that so many times. They really.
Yeah, we laughed every time we said that because I'm like, oh my goodness, it's actually true.
Yeah, so cute.
Yeah.
It's just perfect casting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we all got along very well, especially a lot of the girls who were background at the Schwartzman School, also all visually impaired. And
Okay,
we all got along too because we were in that scene the whole day, and it was also a really nice experience to just meet all the people I was representing. So it was
that's a big responsibility, Vienna, to
that's
to
what
represent.
the first time when I got this audition, that I knew that was my responsibility, and that was another thing.
That was one of the reasons why she said no.
No, I had to do this. Because not only was it my first on camera, I was nervous to be on stage in front of anybody, and then I had this other
obligation to
and responsibility
to do that right,
to represent like a whole group of people. And just being on set, that already scared me. So there was all these little factors, but my dad told me he wouldn't let me fail.
And Peter
and to this day,
I'll never forget that Peter you know, extended himself in that way. And of course, your dad wouldn't let you fail. And by the way, he brags about you like 24/7. I mean, he's very proud. So we had been hearing about this since Mike Magnuson made this cryptic post during the season, and he's the, you know, production director, I think, production team director or manager. And he said, you know, what an incredible inclusive moment happened today on set, and he was just like extraordinarily proud of the whole team.
Yes.
And so we were predicting it. We thought that that's what it was, and so I think there was just a lot of anticipation and a lot of excitement that you would have this whole visually impaired community, such a diverse group of young women, you know.
Yeah, it really was.
Great.
I was so glad they brought people who needed to be represented too. Like, of course, I as an actor can represent these people, but to bring off like authentic people to the storyline was a big step.
Yeah, we were very, very proud of Hallmark on that.
Yeah.
Very proud of it. Very proud of it.
And it, you know, and I don't know that they got their props for it, so we're giving you your props, Hallmark.
We're giving you props.
Definitely.
I assume that took extra steps, like having to do script in Braille for them.
Oh, wow.
Maybe even do their marks where they were more textured or raised.
I know transportation was actually, no one would have thought about it, but transportation, like how are Jenny and Keisha going to get around set? How, like, you know, with breaks, they both had their adorable guide dogs who were staying with us.
Yes.
Luckily we were able to have we were just able to have them with us in the green room.
The best dogs you've ever met.
Wow.
Awesome.
What are you saying? Scout isn't the best dog ever?
Scout, of course.
You know, Scout's amazing, but
these two other dogs,
highly trained.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
They were just so calm and
I think
chill.
one of them was playing chess with somebody. These dogs These dogs, I was like, wow, you guys are some smart dogs.
Yeah, there was definitely I think everything had to be timed much better as well, because as soon as they got to set, they especially for Keisha, she had to get a feel for the space because most of the other actors were sitting down. So they were fine, but especially for Keisha, just so she had a better understanding of where she was going to be. Definitely had to make sure that there was time for that, and the best way to make her feel comfortable when it came to walking to her mark and where she needed to start and stop and all of those things. So it was just a level of awareness that I think everybody came to set with. And so everything went really, really smoothly.
Yeah, they made the day easier, actually.
Yeah.
They made it like
bravo to everyone. I'm so thankful that y'all did that. That is just so awesome that y'all did that.
Yeah.
This question comes from someone that you might know. Amanda Wong of Vancouver, BC,
Really?
and Karen Rietma of Westerville, Ohio, they both had the same question. They thought that the scenes were so beautifully done. Vienna, having played a blind student all these years, what might you have learned from these visually impaired actors?
That's a great question. I did learn a lot from both Keisha and Ginny. They told me about things that I would never think of someone like those girls would have to go through, especially like how they get around the city, Ubering, busing, like training, you know, a lot of that is sometimes a struggle for them because they're turned away a lot.
Yeah.
And I would have never thought about that.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
have that privilege of just calling a taxi, and because I don't have a guide dog with me, it's not a concern.
Yeah.
I learned like how they communicate to people on their device that they have to text, and it's as easy as just me pulling my phone out and texting. Like I still get the same type of message from Keisha and Ginny, and we do text like every now and then.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we keep in touch. And yeah, just on set being my character, what I thought Angela would do, what I've learned from watching videos, what I've learned from Peter, and just being on set. I learned a lot from Keisha and Ginny. They told me like how they get around somewhere new, and then I would mimic them, or how they hold their cane in a very specific way. I was like, oh, I've been doing this not wrong, but I've been now showed how someone who is actually visually impaired would hold their cane. It's it's like I can't describe it, but it's such a specific way of, you know, how they move into a new area.
They scan.
Yeah,
the
how they
area.
scan, what they do, like how something textured feels to them. Like it was a learning moment. And I think that was a great day for me to take everything in, even though I've been playing Angela for so long. Just in a day I learned something worth like 5 years of knowledge. I was just
Wow.
it was a great learning moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy to hear that they get never thought that anybody would turn away somebody that's visually impaired with a taxi scenario or Uber scenario, but they say it happens all the time. It just kind of blew my mind. This is the first person you're gonna stop to help.
Yeah.
You know, get somewhere.
Yeah.
No.
I think they, you know, from that whole, the blind leading the blind, from that moment, well, actually even earlier than that, the set just, although Minnie was like, she's late, you know, even though, you know, she, you know, we could feel her tension. The beauty of the set and the confidence that the students there conveyed, like that's what Minnie needed, I think, to give her confidence. You know, I thought that was beautifully done.
Yeah.
Did you feel that, Natasha?
Yeah, no, it definitely was, because I mean, she was clearly on tenterhooks as to how this is all going to play out. But I think the way they had set it up, like you said, it created such a peaceful atmosphere. Even just when Vienna goes to the globe and is like, oh, the Sahara is so big. And I just, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And she realizes that there's so much here that it actually is going to help her and make her feel exactly like everyone else.
Yeah. It's we learned a lot that day. Like in that moment, in the scene, we literally were like our characters, watching how Ginny and Keisha navigated the room. It was like, so that again, we're not really acting. We're really looking at them like, oh man, okay.
Good.
Just for real. Yeah, there's no acting.
And it still would have been like a very different experience that I was experienced as Vienna, as Angela, compared to Ginny and Keisha, how they were actually like not even really acting. They were just in that scene, and it was a very different experience for all three of us. Just to be, it would have been very different for me to know where everything is. It's very different for Keisha and Ginny because they are still learning and like calculating where everything is on set. And
Yeah, it was incredible to
just
watch
super
to watch them navigate, like
Yeah.
get to a mark. It's
better
like
than me. And
yeah,
I can see where I'm going at all times, as any actor would know how hard it is to get on their mark. Yeah, because like the first time I was like, okay, did you even know where that was?
yeah, what? How? Yeah, just there's a whole other thing going on with the way with the way they move, with the way they do anything, and it kind of forced us to really kind of look into that, and yeah, it's amazing. They're incredible.
Well, and I love that as parents, you guys were kind of at both extremes. The very protective. I've seen parents who are very protective of their kids and don't want them to be hurt. Then I've seen parents who are like, "You've got to go, you got to,"
Yeah.
and it's hard to balance that. And y'all portrayed that wonderfully. So
Yeah, it was a team effort, because each Joseph knew Minnie's fears, Minnie knows Joseph's fears, and we were trying to lift each other up, because we know that this is gonna happen. We know it's like she's growing, she's getting older, she's of course she's gonna want to have her own life. And yeah, it's tough to think
You do
about.
have a sense of what a bold and brave thing that would be. My gosh. And these schools did, like the Perkins schools of the School of the Blind, like dates back into the 1800s, I know, in Boston, so, I mean, there were these women that went away to this, that must have been terrifying,
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Not to mention for a girl of color. I mean, like, there's a lot of layers here. So it's it's during that time, it's impressive anyway.
Yes, very much. Well, we have another question from that Amanda. She was very inquisitive. This one is for Viv and Natasha. She wonders if y'all will be calling on Mike and Mei to run your dinner service again for you.
Of course.
You would like to know the answer to that question.
Even after the cold squab and pickles, day old bread.
Yeah, we'll it's up for consideration. Let's not go too far and say yes just yet.
Yeah, that's a very diplomatic
answer. In
a pinch.
You guys are kind. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Y'all ain't coming anywhere near our place.
I'm gonna say you're not gonna get a good Yelp rating from Lucas and Edie for that.
Honestly, those pickles and squab, and the bread that was baked fresh yesterday.
Yeah, like no, can't represent Minnie like that. That's how you get in a lot of trouble.
No, totally not. It was so un-Minnie. Yeah. So we should note, because we haven't talked about it, that Sunday night's episode was written by Paul Redford and Liam Fernley, and directed by Siobhan Devine. I just thought it was really well written. The setup with Minnie feeling all that fear and like kind of snapping at Angela about the scarf, and then having it turned on her, where then Angela is reflecting those fears back at her in her own sort of crisis of confidence. Laura Dreesen of Emporia, Kansas asks you to tell us about playing those moments, Natasha.
They were very true to life. And I think it was nice to see Minnie with those two sides, because she always does seem to know what the answer is. And this time she didn't. She had such a battle within herself over how this should play out. And then I think the realization of now when Angela realizes maybe she can't do it, that moment for Minnie was, I just think, a revelation for her, because she had spent so long on the other side. She was annoyed when the brochure had been sent off for and all of that. And so in that moment, she had to concede, because there was no other choice, I think, for her. And to see her daughter now struggling, when really she realizes, as her mother, I should be giving her encouragement to move forward. So I think for her it was interesting to play, because that final monologue where I'm talking to her
Monologue.
Yeah, it was just a moment where, like, I felt that Minnie had to really soften and be on a level with her daughter in that moment, because it was necessary.
It was the perfect metaphor. It really was. Because I can't imagine, as a visually impaired person, getting on a sled and going down, that's it.
I cannot.
Much less,
Yeah.
much less leaving your family. And I just thought you played it really, both of you played it really beautifully. It was just, it was a treasure. It was a treasure. Yeah. Yeah. Sylvia Avon of the Netherlands wonders, if Angela goes off to the Schwartzman School, does that mean Vienna's not going to be on the show? Or will we see you back in Hope Valley?
I definitely know that
If we get a season 13, I guess we could add. Yeah. You just keep, confident.
Yeah.
keep going. Yeah, I think we've talked about Angela coming back to Hope Valley on weekends. She still has her family here. She still has her friends here. And I know that that would probably be the idea of Angela coming back to visit every now and then. She's not going to be gone forever. It's like it's very accessible by train, but she'd be able to come back and still, be with the town.
That was the idea. It was that she would come home on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice. Okay, that makes us breathe a little more easily. So wrapping up, I get a little verklempt, and not only at the potential of I don't know whether we're going to see a commencement or, but that goodbye with Allie, or like, are we going to see her go? I don't know, but just all of it. Like, can you tease anything of what's to come in season 12 for Angela for the rest of the episodes?
I definitely know that it's straight, all those scenes leading up to when we do say goodbye, they've strengthened those connections, especially with her friends, with Allie, with Angela's parents, and Elias, Cooper, and everyone else in the town I know has come together and been like, okay, this is really happening. And especially for my dad and Natasha playing my parents, it also reflects like real life. Like I had to say goodbye to Jada and Grayson and Ava and all the girls that I hang out with, and now we are trying to like still hang out outside a set. And I know that all those scenes leading up has just like strengthened our chemistry in the show and real life. To tease anything, I know that Angela will always know where she comes from and won't ever leave Hope Valley behind, her family behind, and her friends behind.
Good answer.
Yeah.
No, right.
Well, okay.
Yep.
You're just gonna like leave us at a teary
Your dad's taught you well how to tease.
Well, and I mean, you have the depth of character that we would expect for someone playing Angela. Your wisdom is clearly much older than you are, as your dad had long said, but you're confirming in a dozen ways today. So thank you so much. Congratulations on a really amazing storyline. Latrice Denise of Phoenix, Arizona was among the Hearties who said it's just been so important to her, all the ways that you have represented diversity in this show.
Aww.
And
that means a lot.
Yeah, it's very important to people. So thank you all. It's just wonderful to get to hear the behind the scenes and how you approach these incredible moments.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been nice to chat about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Hearties, we want to hear about what your thoughts are. How did you enjoy the scene with the Schwartzman School, and all your thoughts about what's next for Angela and the Canfields, the changing dynamic that will happen when one of the kids goes off to college. With 3 more episodes to go, we will see you Sunday night on the Hallmark channel, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central, and on X, always with the hashtag Hearties. And there's a lot more to come on Heart to Hearties. So be sure to subscribe, leave your comments, go to our podcast channels, and we'll see you next time on Heart to Hearties.
Bye.
Bye.